Welcome and good evening. This is the November 19th, 2018 Coeur d'Alene Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. Let's open the meeting with roll call.
Commissioner Cranston.
Here.
Commissioner McDowell. Commissioner Lean.
Here.
Commissioner Tate.
Here.
Commissioner Hill.
Here.
Commissioner Wood.
Here.
Commissioner Ettinger.
Here.
Commissioner Kinnard.
Here.
Thank you, Melissa. We have an official quorum, so we'll proceed ahead with the Pledge of Allegiance. Christy, would you mind leading us?
I'd love to. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do any of the commission members tonight have a conflict of interest with any of the agenda items? Okay, there are none. We'll go ahead and move next to approval of the October 15th, 2018 meeting minutes. I assume everybody's had an opportunity to look them over. If there aren't any corrections, I will entertain a motion to approve.
I shall move.
Second.
Motion's been made to approve the meeting minutes of October 15th by Commissioner Ettinger and seconded by Commissioner Tate. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Meeting minutes are approved unanimously. Well, Bill, that brings us to staff report.
Well, we've got, we just finished up all of our winterization, so everything's buttoned up. The restrooms here at McEwen remain open due to the fact that they are heated, so folks have got a place to use the restroom facility here for the parade that we'll be having on this Friday, because a lot of people come and gather here at McEwen to watch the fireworks here as well as City Park. Our dog park at Northshire's come along a little behind schedule. We've moved most of the elements. We're waiting on a fencing contractor. He was going to try and get out this weekend to complete that bullpen area, but he's yet to do that. We're hopefully he will be here this week and get it done before Thanksgiving, and then we'll move the gates over, and then that park, that dog park will close up. The new one will open. We'll begin to dismantle the old dog park by removal of the fencing that's around there. We're going to keep some of that fencing. We're going to use some of that at Ramsey Park to help with the recreation side of our department to cordon off an area where their sheds are near the middle parking lot. So we're doing that, and the swinging bench is coming along. The footings are there, the stem wall's there, in which this is behind K27, and the frame of the swing itself is at the powder coater. So as soon as the powder coater is done, our staff will transport that to the site and install it with the help of a crane service. So we'll pick up the entire piece as one, there are three pieces, and then set that on the footings. We will be conducting interviews for urban forester position, I think the first week of December. And we have 5 good-looking candidates, so we'll see how that goes then. She's going to be, Katie will be a hard act to follow, but we'll do our best to train them up. But she was something else. So best luck to her, but we're hopeful to find somebody really, really talented as well. And then we have decided on the grandstand RFQ. We had 3 firms that were interested in that qualification. After reviewing their proposals, we've decided to do face-to-face interviews. And so those will be conducted December 6th with all 3 firms having about 45 minutes to wow us as to why they should be the selected firm. Any questions about that one?
Bill, if a selection is made during that interview process, what's kind of the schedule moving forward at that point?
It puts us behind schedule, quite frankly. As you know, we were hoping to have broken ground already. It puts us into having the grandstands completed sometime in the middle of the summer. There are certain things that, as you know, as an architect, that have to do with climate control. There are some coatings and paintings and things that we need to do when it's a little bit warmer for that stuff to set up correctly. If we were trying to do this in February, the outcome of that product installation may not be the best. So we're looking at midsummer probably.
Okay.
And that's about all I have as an update on the park side of stuff.
Okay. Bridget?
Bill, I was wondering if you received any comments back about the offsides video that we saw. Anyone from the public? Or
No, actually, I
any
didn't.
comments?
Some staff had talked to me, but I had not received anything negative or positive about it at all. I just hope it was a good education for folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
I continually look at that site, and there's always new stuff coming forward. So it's not always the best, but sometimes it's comical.
Anything else for Bill? Thank you, Bill. Do any of the commissioners tonight have any comments or announcements? Okay. Then we'll move on to public comments. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to address the commission that aren't already here as one of the agenda items? Nope. Okay. Well, that moves us on to the Panhandle Parks Foundation. Jocelyn Whitfield Babcock is here from the foundation to give us a presentation. Bill, do you have any
No,
comments?
Jocelyn, you took over about a year and a half ago now?
Not quite a year.
Not quite a year, okay, all right. So we've been working hand in hand with the foundation, as you know, and so she's just here to give you a bit of an update on, and I think she'll be speaking to the spreadsheet that is included in your packet, and we won't have anything on the screen for you.
Okay. It's all yours, Jocelyn.
Thank you. So included in the packet is a review of our financials from January through September. Our bookkeeper updates my QuickBooks quarterly, so I'll have another set for the entire 2018 come December. Our MOU with the city is to present our amenities, budget, and accounting, and we have provided that every time there's a change and on a regular basis, but this is a little bit more about how our organization is doing, not just, for the McEwen amenities, but every project that we're on is in these financials. So I don't know if you had any opportunity to look over those or if you have any questions, but that might be a place to start.
Jocelyn, one of the things you might be able to update the commissioners on is how helpful you guys were in the K-27 stuff.
Okay, yes, so where you see item 48,000 park amenities and also under expenses, the 51,200 park amenities, so that is K-27. So that is what we brought in 2018 and then what has gone out. There are still 2 invoices remaining to be paid, and then we can work on closing the books by the end of 2019.
So you might want to tell the commissioners too how involved you guys were working along with the mayor. Part of the, not just about this, but really about what you guys were boots on the ground and how you were so helpful at all of the fundraisers and what you guys how you were engaged with us to help us get this project completed.
Okay, yeah, so I started right after the groundbreaking, so I did the latter half. I can't speak to what was done before me, but from September all the way through now, we've done Facebook fundraisers, online auctions. We did a hockey game that was quite successful. We established a committee and had regular meetings with the contractors, and yeah, it was really exciting to even come down
You did
and,
also Amazon too, didn't you? When I was buying stuff online, I
Yeah.
showed the foundation, some of those dollars went towards you guys, right?
oh, thank you,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Amazon Smile, Fred Meyer Community Rewards, there's several different ones, even the Maverick Adventure Points.
Oh,
If you
okay.
don't want a free hot dog or Coke, you can actually donate those points to us, and they turn them into cash.
Okay. Ginny?
So I see that you don't have your balance sheet with you today, so I do have a couple questions, and I'm wondering what the status of the cash in the bank account is, and how much is restricted and how much is unrestricted.
So, sorry about that. I would have to go and look over, we do that report monthly in our minutes. So what we have restricted, what we're holding right now are McEwen amenities. We're also holding funds for the Coeur d'Alene Skate Park. We were fiscal agent to the North Idaho Skate Park Association. We are holding the funds for Swinging Bench number 3, and we are holding funds for the North Idaho Workers Memorial.
And Brad Cedarblum had come before you guys to show you his stuff that he was doing.
And then do you have a value and a number of land parcels that are held by the foundation right now?
Yes, we are holding one land parcel on Fernan Hill, which is slated to be Veteran Centennial Park, and I believe the last tax assessment was about $650,000.
And are there any liabilities?
We pay the liability insurance, and the city maintains the property.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Are there any debts related to the Parks Foundation? Any outstanding debts?
Oh, outstanding? Not anything that I don't see on here.
Thank you.
Any other questions? So on the spreadsheet that you did give us, Jocelyn, is this, is it all directly related to those funds and assets you're holding for the city of Coeur d'Alene, or is this the entire Parks Foundation spreadsheet?
This is the entire Parks Foundation for what we've brought in and what we've paid in 2018. So those donations that we are holding for the city is the amenities report that we provide to Bill quarterly. And so those wouldn't be reflected on these numbers because those are prior donations. But that's, after an expense, I believe that's about $75,000 in McEwen amenities.
Okay.
Commissioner, are you asking whether or not the other items that she's holding are reflective in this sheet? Are they separate? Is that what you were asking?
Correct.
So is that
Yeah, so this is just what we brought in
For-
from January to September.
for everything? So it includes Brad's stuff and it includes the skate park stuff in this spreadsheet?
Of what came in 2018.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
When you bring this back around next time, if you'd bring the balance sheet with it, that would be great. And do you have it split out into classes at all on the income statement by properties? We might look at that too.
We do have a 14-page document that has every GL, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Our next item is an action item regarding the American Legion baseball agreement. The decision point tonight is, should the commission recommend approval of the agreement between the city of Coeur d'Alene and American Legion Baseball for use of Thorco Field at Ramsey Park. The city of Coeur d'Alene first entered into agreement with American Legion Baseball in 1992 for the use of McEwen Field. American Legion's baseball program was moved to Thorco at Ramsey Park, and at that time, we updated the agreement, which is currently up for renewal. There will be no additional cost to the city to maintain the field. This agreement will identify and outline the responsibilities that the City of Coeur d'Alene and American Legion Baseball will have for field maintenance, scheduling, and costs for the American Legion season. Again, the decision point or recommendation tonight would be whether the commission would recommend to General Services that the City Council approve the agreement between the City of Coeur d'Alene and the American Legion Baseball for use of Thorco Field at Ramsey Park. Bill, do you have anything to add?
Yes, I do, actually. Legion's been great to work with. We've got a great relationship with the current leadership, and we've had some really good interaction. They've been helping a bunch with the interior field maintenance. We were doing it ourselves, and I was a bit reluctant to give that up. And we talked it through, and I felt more comfortable. And so they started mowing the infield and then taking control of the water. So our superintendent, Jeff Erickson, reworked the valving for the irrigation system to give them access to that independent of the overall system that's there at Ramsey, that 29 acres. And so in doing that, they took real ownership, and it hasn't been better. I can't tell you that it's been the greatest thing ever, because they took it over, helped free us up some, and they were more satisfied with their own quality. They mowed it more often than we could, and so therefore it helped with the infield play of the ball. And so, yeah, their leadership's been really, really good to work with. So we've come a long ways.
So the main thing that has changed in the renewal agreement is just a definition of responsibilities of the field maintenance items, specifically
Well,
the
that's not
infield.
even in here. It speaks to it a little bit. I was, again, we always allowed for it some, but I was, again, a little reticent. I just want, that field was new. We'd had some mistakes made in the past by cutting the field too short. Being it's bluegrass, it's not going to be like a major league field with bent grass or something like that. So we'd had some trouble with that, but we worked through that, probably 3 years ago now, and they've done a great job. So within this agreement, we allow for them to do some maintenance, and so I'm just following what the agreement is by just a verbal agreement between us. We've written some stuff down about what the do's and don'ts are. And I'm certain that when Kerry, the guy's doing the field stuff, and his kids move on, we'll have to retrain somebody else. But for now, we're getting along great, and I really like what they're doing with the field.
Great.
Mr. Chair.
Christie?
If I could just comment on that, Bill, I walk by there every day, the dog and I.
Okay, yeah.
And the fields look fantastic, and I see the maintenance workers out there all the time. I've always been curious, though, why doesn't that ground absorb the water? Because it's always kind of sloshy if you walk down in it. It's really bizarre, actually, to walk down through it.
Well, on the field itself?
No, the backside from right up to the trail.
It's a good question. I don't know.
We'll talk about it next year.
Yeah, no,
but I just
I-
thought, why isn't this absorbing the water? Just there's a tremendous amount of water.
I don't know. That is on a landfill, but up that high, I don't know why that. There was some clay that was dumped up on the top near the trail. That might be part of it, because when we were building the field, we brought in some clay that was from the old field. We took it off and took it over and used it as a base to set up that infield, and then put the good stuff on top. So there was a band of clay over there along the south side of the restroom facility.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it might be something like that, where it's not perking through because of that clay.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yep.
All right. Mystery solved. Thank you.
Bridget?
Bill, I was wondering, I see things like field alterations, that the association makes those repairs, and do you all keep an eye on that, or are there some agreement about?
They've been very
what
good about
happens?
talking to us. And so if they want, for example, a few years ago, they asked about creating some more pitchers, warm-up areas. And so we didn't have space there, but we did right outside field 4, the softball field between field 4 and the trail. So we allowed them to create that. We've made some alterations to the batting cage. The batting cage that we have, it had tendency to sag a little bit more than it should, so we had to modify that to create some bracing for them. And they were part of that as well, because they brought it to our attention that there was a problem. And so we have a pretty good fabricator named Tom Meek. He does our mow crew, and he's also handy as a welder and a mechanic. So we put him on the task, and he came up with a good solution.
Okay. Any further discussion? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move for the approval of the agreement with American Legion Baseball.
Okay, is there a second?
Second?
Any further discussion? Okay. Commissioner Ettinger made the motion to recommend to General Services that the City Council approve the agreement between the City Coeur d'Alene and American Legion Baseball for the use of Thorco Field at Ramsey Park. Seconded by Commissioner Hill. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Melissa, that recommendation moves forward unanimously to General Services, and that would be this next Monday? Okay. Okay, our next item is also an action item. And that is in regards to a renewal agreement with Row Adventures. The decision point would be, should the city renew the 3-year agreement with Row Adventures to access Independence Point Beach for the purpose of launching kayaks for guided tours. This would be the 7th season that we have allowed Row to conduct these tours from Independence Point Beach, and the response indicates that it is successful and well received by the public. There is no cost to the city to allow the use. However, since it is a commercial venture, we are recommending that a 5% of the gross tour income be paid to the Parks Department Capital Improvement Fund. Row provides another water sport activity for residents and tourists. Kayaking and paddleboarding are growing in popularity, and these tours help to fill that need. This is not a venture which competes with other vendors, as there will not be any kayak or paddleboard rentals or rentals of any kind. Row provides only guided tours, and the tours are complete with all necessary safety equipment and instructions. This agreement can be terminated without cause by the city if it proves to be a problem for the beach users or the boating traffic. Again, the decision point or recommendation tonight would be, should the Parks and Recreation Commission recommend that the City Council renew the 3-year agreement with Row Adventures for this activity? Anybody here that want to speak to the agreement?
No, Peter, I think, is out of town.
Okay.
So they have been doing this, as it said in the staff report, about 7 seasons now. It doesn't have any impact really to any of our customers on the beach. They come in. I think their tour numbers are down a little bit since their office space down in Sherman has been moved. But we still get some revenue from it, and it's still a little bit that goes in Parks Capital. And again, it's a good feature to have, being that we are a tourist community.
So, gathered by the staff report, there really hasn't been any conflicts with other uses in the area or on the beach?
No, sir. I haven't got any reports of such action of that. And when I've been down there and I've seen them going, they're very courteous, and you know they're staying sort of on the easterly side, hugging the boardwalk to go out around Tubbs Hill. So no conflicts at all.
With this agreement renewal, are basically the times of operation and days of operation the same as the previous agreement?
Well, it's based on his numbers and how he can get a clientele booked. I think they probably get a number that makes it worth their while to go out. So it's not as frequent as it was, but they're still doing it.
I know that in initial conversations a few years back, we discussed would there be boating traffic conflict? And how is that?
I haven't heard that from anyone.
Great.
So I was talking with Greg Prasini a few months ago, and he's never brought anything like that up in relationship to Hagedon's operations. And again, they hug that boardwalk side and then, kind of edge over through that mouth of that harbor to Tubbs Hill to conduct the tours there.
Mm-hmm. That's a safe way to do that.
Anybody else have any comments or questions? Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd do that. I make a motion, the Park and Recreation Commission recommends that the City Council renew the 3-year agreement with Row Adventures for this activity.
Is there a second? Okay. Motion's been made by Commissioner Wood to recommend to City Council to renew the 3-year agreement with Row Adventures for this activity. Seconded by Commissioner Ettinger. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Melissa, that also moves forward unanimously to General Services. They'll be on their next Monday's agenda. So that kind of brings us to the end of the meeting here. Is there any other comments or announcements before I make our next meeting announcements? Okay. Tuesday, December 4th, will be the Park and Rec Commission's workshop to be held at Crusoe's Deli and here in Coeur d'Alene at 11:30 a.m. And then the next regularly scheduled Park and Rec Commission meeting will be right here in the Library Community Room, December 17th at 5:30 p.m. And with that, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
The motion's been made by Commissioner Tate to adjourn, seconded by Commissioner Ettinger. All in favor?
Aye.
You're adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next month.